Alright. Hey everyone, so as most of you guys know, my name's Max. I am 24, I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I have gone through a lot in the last 2 years. Basically, ever since I can remember, I've always kind of been a chubby kid. This was basically due to medication I took when I was younger for my behavioral issues. Ever since I was little, I took them and they made me gain a lot of weight. Once I was around the age of 16, 17, I started kind of deciding I didn't want to take them anymore. So by the time I was 18, 19, I started to wean myself off of them, and eventually I was off of them completely and I lost a good amount of weight. This was kind of my first peak of realizing that I could lose weight. That medication kind of gave me the push to start losing weight. I had tried in the past, but once I got that push with my medication, now that there was no barrier in the way, I soar. So, I went from being very heavy, almost 300 pounds at the age of 15 or 16, all the way down to around 220 pounds within a year or two, and it was great. I was going between 220, 230, and then lost a lot of weight out of really nowhere. I went down to about 185, which I am about now, but going from 220 to 185 back then was a lot. I was happy about it because I didn't know, why, but for me, weight loss was weight loss. So then about a month later, I gained most of it back, and then I kept gaining, and I kept gaining, and I kept gaining. I went to my doctor for my checkup and let her know I was gaining a lot of weight recently, and she had tests done, and my thyroid levels were high. And so she put me on medication, which helped a little with like cravings and, stuff like that, but it didn't really help me lose weight too much just on its own. So after, trial and error, getting the medication dosage right, she kind of was like, have you ever thought of weight loss surgery? Because it's been 6 months, you haven't really lost weight, you've still put on weight, you're eating less, but it's not enough to bring you down in weight, and where you are now, you're gonna be like starving yourself to lose weight, and that's not okay. So I went to a surgeon. I went for a consultation. I talked with his nurse practitioner. I talked with him. I was, I believe, 22 at the time. And he was like, you're very young, you'd probably be one of the youngest patients I would have. A lot of people in your life at this state aren't ready for this kind of surgery. I'm not saying don't get it, but I'm saying there's a lot of risk of you going back. And that scared me, honestly. I said, okay, I'll let you guys know. And I didn't go back for a year. In that time, I probably gained another 30 pounds or 40 pounds. And I said, I need to go back. I need to talk with them again because nothing's working. So I went back and he said, this is what we have to do. We have to start you on a weight loss program without anything, just diet and exercise to see if you can lose weight on your own. If you can lose weight on your own without the surgery, then it's more of a diet issue and an exercise issue. Like basically meaning you're just not motivated enough to do it yourself, so you want to get surgery. So he said, let's try this and see what happens. So I believe it was 3 to 6 months, and I had maybe lost 3 pounds or something with a very rigorous diet. And he said, okay, so this is obviously something medical that is not going to be fixed with diet and exercise right now at first. And he said you needed to lose this much weight before surgery. And if you get down to this weight, you're good. If you don't, we're gonna have to postpone it. I said, okay. I was up for the challenge. I stuck it out. I did it. I got to my weight where I needed to be. They made me do these psychological exams. They make you do a psychological exam to make sure you're mentally prepared for the surgery, mentally prepared for recovery, mentally prepared for the weight loss, mentally prepared to be able to diet and exercise and meal plan and all that kind of stuff. The first place I went was through my health insurance, and it wasn't a really good experience for me. She didn't really seem to talk to me as a person, more just like a number. Like, she put me in front of a computer for 2 hours and came back and then emailed me and was like, yeah, you're not ready. And I said, you know what, like, that's not, I just didn't agree with her. It sounded like a lot of nonsense. So I found another psychiatrist that does these exams who I had to pay for. He was not part of my insurance plan. He ended up being a patient of weight loss surgery, and he spoke with me for maybe like an hour and a half, spoke like face to face. And after that, I mean, I knew 99% sure he was going to say I was okay, because he was telling me I'm definitely a good candidate and I'm mentally prepared, and he said he would email me in a few days or a week. And so he emailed me back saying that I passed and that he put in the paperwork to my doctors and that I'm ready to schedule my appointment for surgery. So I was excited, it was great, I was super happy, nervous but excited. And so I set up my surgery date, did all the prep work, went into surgery. It was, the surgery part was easy, they just knock you out. Recovery was hard, I remember that. Painful, felt like someone punched you in the stomach 20 times over and over. It takes a lot to get back on your feet, but I did. Started walking as soon as I got home, and then from there I've just been working out, dieting. As of now, I am 185 pounds. Before speaking with my surgeon, I was 315. Into surgery, I was 290. So, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight. And with that comes a lot of loose skin. And, the thing with loose skin is a lot of people say, oh, I don't even see it, or, things like that. And I understand where people are coming from, but for me to be waking up every morning and looking in the mirror and seeing, my chest sag, my stomach sag, my legs being sagged, my back and my bottom being sagged, physically it would be better. And also working out, clothes, stuff like that, it would be so much better too. I'm planning on having the surgery in May of next year. Today it is October 2nd, 2018, and I'm planning on having my surgery in May of 2019. Excuse me. I'm going to be having it in Brazil because my in-laws are there who are full Brazilian and they've lived there for forever, so that's good. And my mother-in-law, she is a nurse in Brazil, so she knows reputable surgeons there, and it's so much cheaper. Unfortunately, in the medical field, they don't recognize, skin removal surgery as a medical need unless it is causing irritations, rashes, stuff like that. Me, it's not like that. It is, in my opinion, excessive. But yeah, so basically I'm trying to think whether I want to make a GoFundMe page or not, because